Hi there, Claudia from the Wee Garden Homestead here, and I'm back in the kitchen today. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be canning some black beans. We used the last of my canned black beans a couple days ago. I hate to be out of them. I like the convenience of having them already canned versus cooking them, and I know I can buy them at the store. Let me tell you why I can them. It's very convenient to have them all ready to go. I bought two 2-pound bags of beans, dried beans, and they cost me $2.79 each at Publix. So out of that, I'm going to get 18 pints of beans, which is the same as a 15.5-ounce can of beans that you would buy at the store. Now, at the store, and I'm looking at my notes here, I'm sorry, I can't remember it all. At the store, I would pay 72 cents each for the cheap Walmart brand plain black beans. That's the least expensive ones I could find in a quick look. I'm sure if they're on sale, you might get them a little cheaper, but that's what I would pay. At $2.79 a bag, for every 2-pound bag, I get 9 pints. That puts me at 31 cents a jar, versus 72 cents a jar at Walmart. On my canner load today, I will have 18 pints going in. I use 2 bags. So that comes out to my cost of $5.58 for the beans. Now, if I was to buy them at Walmart, the least expensive ones I could find, that would also come to $12.96. That's a savings of $7.38. And I know $7.38 doesn't seem like a lot, but things like that start to add up. I mean, black beans are not the only ones we use. So I try to can my own. I do chili beans. I do some Fiesta Ranch beans that have the Fiesta Ranch mix in them. They're really good as a meat extender. Once I can them, I can use them for refried beans. I can use them for black beans. I can use them in a lot of recipes. We had the black beans on some fried pumpkin salads the other day. It's just very convenient to have them here. So I did do a little prep work before I get started over there off camera. I did sort and rinse my beans. I did measure them out to make sure I had the right amount ready to go for the number of jars I have. I have all my jars washed and on the counter ready to be filled. I started some, I'm trying to use the filtered water. I don't know if I have enough in my pure filtered pitcher to do them all. Otherwise, I'll just use the tap water. I prefer to use the filtered water, but the tap water's fine. They're going to can for 75 minutes, and that's pretty much going to kill anything that might be in that tap water. So my canner's ready to go. It has my 3 quarts of water in the bottom of it. I've got my 2 racks ready to go. That's pretty much it. I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to get started. Okay, so I've got my jars ready to go. I've got my canner ready to go. I've got my beans rinsed. I've got a 1/2 cup measure. I've got my funnel. I've got some water here. I've got more in the filter jug. My lids are washed and ready to go. I have rings on the other side of the kitchen that I'll grab when I need them. So basically, I'm doing the no soak method, and this is not an approved method by the National Home Center for Canning. I can't remember exactly the name of it. It is not an approved method. It is how I do it. It works for me. Whether you do it this way or not, or you soak them the night before and then can them, that is up to you. This is how I do it, and maybe in the future I'll do a video of soaking, if I soak them the night before, and I'll do that. I think you just put the beans that you put in are a little bit more. I'm going to put just under a 1/2 cup of beans, dried beans, in each of these. I'm going to fill them to 1 inch with water. I'm going to lid them. I'm going to put them in my canner. Now, everything I am working with is cold. If you have cold jars, you need to fill them with cold water, and put them in a cold canner. If I have a hot canner and I'm filling hot jars, then I need to have hot contents. Everything has to be either hot or cold, or you wind up with jars breaking. So I'm going cold this time. It'll take a little longer for my canner to come up to temp because everything's cold, but it's easier on the front end. I have some other chores I'm going to do while I'm out here in the kitchen. I've got some baking to do, and I'll take care of all of that while the canner's running. So the first thing I need to do is just under a half a cup. So that's about right in each one. All right, so I measured before I started, and obviously I didn't measure correctly because I still have a lot of beans left here. So my math was wrong. These jars are going to cost me even less than what I thought they were going to. They're probably going to be about 25 cents each. I'll measure these out later and see how many more jars I can get out of it. I might have to run the canner again because now that they're rinsed, they're wet, I don't want them to go to waste. So that's the beans are all in there. I'm just going to top it off with water, and like I said, this is filtered water. I just put it in the jars because I was trying to refill the filter and get it going. You want an inch of headspace, and this is very important. If you fill them too full, when the pressure comes up, the lids will blow off inside. So you want to be very careful about that. You want an inch of headspace, and this is an inch for me. I'm double checking it, but you can tell pretty much by where the shoulder of the jar is also. So I'm going to fill them where I think they should be, and then I'll go back and measure each one. If there's not enough, I'll top them off a little bit. If there's too much, then I'll put a little more in. Now you could put in a pinch of salt if you wanted. I don't bother. I like to season on the end, not at the beginning. A lot of things I cook with are already salty, so. All right, looks like we made it. I'm going to double check all of these. That one's good. It's a little low. That's good. That was a little too high. If I used all the same type of jars, I could probably just look at them from the side, but since they're all different brands, they fluctuate a little bit. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is just take a paper towel with a little bit of vinegar, and this is just regular white vinegar, and I'm going to clean these off. And I know it was just beans and water, but I do want to make sure they are very clean to make sure I get a good seal. This also gives me another chance, I've already checked them, but another chance to make sure that I don't have any nicks or chips or anything like that on my jars. Time for some lids. The rest of my vinegar I'm just going to put in my canner. That I have hard water here, and that helps me not get rings from the hard water on my jars. You want to go finger tight on these. You don't want to crank them down as tight as you can. You just want to go, I just kind of use the tips of my fingers. If I can't do it with the tips of my fingers, then it's too tight. Double check, make sure I got rings on all of these. I watched a video the other day where the girl said she forgot to put one of the rings on. All right, these are going in my cold canner. I can fit 9, and then I have another rack that I will put another 9 in. I do try to make sure they're all the same height on the bottom level. On the top level, it doesn't matter. Well, that's a little disappointing. All right, I can only get 8 on my top level, so I'll save this and I'll do those, and I'll can them later. Put my lid on, and it has arrows on it to show where they go. And then I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to turn it on fairly high. I have the gauge. I don't really use my gauge. I have a 10-pound weight. For where I live in South Florida, I'm going to do these at 10 pounds of pressure for 75 minutes. So I'm going to let this come up to temperature. It's going to make a white stream of steam come out of that. I'm going to let that vent steam for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to put my weight on. And then as it comes up, I'll start to lower the heat a little bit until it gets to, it'll be probably just a little over 10 pounds of pressure. This will start jiggling, and as long as it jiggles for 75 minutes, I'm good. I can watch the gauge, but it's just much easier for me to listen to this jiggle versus watching the gauge. Then I can do other things in the kitchen while I listen to it jiggle. So I'll be back. All right, so it's hard to see, but my canner is venting a steady stream of steam from that little thing. I'm going to put my little 10-pound weight on there, and now I just wait for that pressure to come up. When that pressure hits 10 pounds, 11 by the dial, but it'll start jiggling at 10, and I'm going to go by the weight. When that starts jiggling on a pretty regular basis, you don't want to jiggle in too fast, but you want to jiggle in pretty steady. Once that starts going, then I'll start my timer for 75 minutes. Okay, so we are at a gentle jiggle. As long as that thing is going and there's still steam releasing, we're good. We don't need it to go. That's just a waste of energy. This is perfect.
Many minutes later.
Alrighty, so my timer just went off, and I shut the power off on the stove, the flame off, and I removed the canner from the heat, and now I will just leave it sit. The pressure will come down on its own. I'm not going to touch it until it hits 0 pounds of pressure. Alrighty, so my canner is at 0. It has been for a little while now. I periodically have been hearing pings of jars sealing in there. I'm going to take my weight off. I'm going to give it a twist. Sorry, doing handheld here because it's getting late. Give it a twist. And then I'm going to pull the lid off. I can't do it one-handed because I'm worried if I lift it, there's going to be still a lot of steam. This thing is still hot. Quite often, items that have been pressure canned will boil in the jar on the counter for hours. So I'm gonna carefully lift the lid, the backside first, facing away from me, and then I'm going to use my jar lifter and I'm going to get them out. I don't know if you caught that little ping, and again, I am handheld. It's late in the evening. I really don't feel like setting the tripod up. I have this open. I'm going to lift these out as straight as I can and set them on this towel to cool until morning. Got a couple of loose lids. That's fine. We'll just leave those be. Look at that one. That one is beautiful. You see how that one's still boiling? Awesome. That means it's still over, boiling 212 degrees after it's been off the heat for probably close to an hour. I'm going to unload the rest of these and I'll be back. Alright, so this is what I've got. 17 jars of black beans for less than half what I would pay at the grocery store. They're still pinging. There's some of them are still boiling. This to me is gold. So I'm going to leave those overnight. In the morning I will check. I'll pull the rings off and I'll check the seals. Oh, a minute ago they were pinging. Oh, there's a ping. There's a great ping. Hopefully we'll get another one here coming up. All of the ones that look like they are down, like this, are definitely sealed. This one, you can see the bump is still up. I'm not sure about that one, but that's the only one that I see that looks like it has not sealed. So we will check back in the morning and have a good night. Alrighty, so it is the next morning. I had 16 out of the 17 that went in are sealed. All of the rings have been taken off. All the jars have been washed. There's no more sticky residue on the outside of them. I know there's a couple water spots, but they don't come off for whatever reason. So this is what I have. I have 16 jars. That one jar that didn't seal, I am gonna put in with the leftover beans that I didn't can yesterday, and I will can them later today. So thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe, please follow, like the videos, comment if you'd like. Of course, we'd love to hear your comments. And until next time, thanks for watching.